Hi, friends. Welcome to Getting Your Real Estate Life Together. I'm Tracy Hicks with All Things Real Estate. And today I'm super excited. I have LeAnn Henri, who I have not met because she's our Instagram friend and she's in Detroit. So I just love connecting with people that are like virtual because we don't do conferences anymore. So I don't get to meet people. So this is a super fun way for me to like engage with you guys and talk. So welcome to the show, LeAnn.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. I love what the internet has turned into within the last year in terms of just forging new connections
Right.
without having met people in person. I'm trying to find a name for like my internet family. Because
There you
it's
go.
just like
Your internet
my
family.
internet, yeah, my internet cousins, my internet friends.
Cousins.
Like what we need a name. We need a name. But
We
yeah,
really do.
it's
We
fun.
really do. And I feel like this technology, obviously Zoom's been around, but I feel like why weren't we doing this stuff before, and like integrating it in? So I think once we can get back to seeing people again and that kind of stuff, hopefully this will continue and people will build this into their business and not
Yeah.
just ditch it like that was so last year. But so okay, so tell me a little bit. Now, do you go by Lee or Leanne? Both.
So I go by both, but Lee is reserved for like close family and friends. Like
Okay.
I've had
Before
people who I've had people who will try to like slide it in and call me Lee, and I kind of give
Y'all,
them a side eye.
yeah,
I'm just like,
that's
that's
earned.
not for
That's
you.
earned.
That's not for you.
I get it. I get it. When you're talking about your siblings and they said, "Well, Lee," and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if she goes by Lee," but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, so
no, close
tell
family and friends.
tell us about you. I'm a weirdo. I'm a little obsessed with Detroit. I've never even been there. I don't know what it is.
What?
I know. I
Oh my
don't.
gosh.
People think I'm so
Like,
weird.
so I am born and raised in Detroit, like the actual Detroit, not Metro Detroit. I'm from the West Side, and I love Detroit with my everything. The only thing I don't like about Detroit are the winters.
Right.
If we didn't get like so cold of a winter, I promise you, people would be flocking to come live in Michigan, to come live in Detroit. Like, what other place do you know has an international border, has its own island? The Detroit Riverwalk has been recently listed as like the number one riverwalk in the country.
Wow.
We have the state of Michigan has mountains. We have beaches. Like, what other place in the world really do you know has all of those things in one place? You
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so for me, Detroit is just a place of, well, of course, I'm biased because it's home, but
Right.
Detroit is a place full of people who just hustle nonstop, the amazing food, just amazing culture. And for the bad reputation that Detroit gets,
Hmm.
any chance I get, like I will brag about my
Right.
city because Detroit truly is like a beautiful place. So I hope that when you get the opportunity to come and visit, you'll see a little bit of why I love it so much. But yeah,
I
Detroit's amazing.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I think I'm a car junkie, so maybe that has a little bit to do with it. You guys are the
Yeah.
car
You've never
capital.
been to like to the Detroit Auto Show? Like nothing like that?
Oh
What?
girl, no, but I will
Tracy.
come for that because like I said, I've been obsessed with cars since I was little. I think it's a thing I have with my dad. That was how we connected. I was the every other weekend kid
Oh,
and he would get
yeah.
cars all the time and I'd be like, "Ooh, like what's he going to be driving today?"
Hmm.
So, I think it's that, but I also think I don't know, what was it like 5 or 10 years ago, you guys started switching some of your abandoned buildings into like
Hmm.
kind of a hub for clean energy and like what do you call it? We call it Earth Advantage over here, but green builds and things like that and
Oh,
like
yeah. Yep.
sustainability and things. So I just thought that was so smart and so cool. And Detroit is also when you think about it, like these huge car corporations and things like that, industrialism is like it's always going
Hmm.
to be around. They should have maybe they should have pivoted as quickly as realtors did with the
Yeah.
pandemic.
That is true. That is
Yep.
true.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is about Detroit. Okay, so you've been a realtor for 4 years, right?
Yes, 4
Okay.
years, this past February.
So
Mhm.
tell us your story. There's always a story. Why are you a realtor? How did that happen?
Yeah, right? So I never saw myself as being a real estate agent. I have family members who do real estate, but it was still never something that I wanted to do. And they always told me like, you should be a realtor, you'd be really great at it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that's cool or whatever. But I think I'm just gonna go get my degree and live my best life.
All
So
right.
thanks, but no thanks. So I went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology with a minor in community action and social change.
Okay.
And I worked as like a program coordinator for a pipeline program for students in middle and high school, just to like help facilitate the process of them matriculating into like a college and university setting.
So cool.
Absolutely loved it. My scholars were amazing. Like to this day, I still keep in contact with some of them. Like it was fantastic. But like after, year three, I was like, okay, I've done this. I see that I'm successful at it. Nah, I think I'm ready for
Entrepreneurial
something else.
spirit is
E
coming out.
Definitely. Like, it's funny, like, because 'cause I've always had it, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, actually about 1.5 years in, I was like, "I'm gonna just take the real estate class. We'll see. I'll plan my next move, but I'm not gonna
See how
do
I feel
anything."
about it.
Yeah, so I went and I took the class and I passed the class, and then I waited another 9 months before I actually took the
Took
state
the
exam.
test.
Yes. So I was like, I took it and I kind of just pushed to the side because work had gotten busy again and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, like we'll see. So when I circled back to it, I got licensed, but I still didn't do any business that first year. Like I did nothing because I was trying to work full time and also do real estate.
Yep.
So for some people, like I commend the agents who are able to still maintain their full time job and do real estate part time and be
Yeah.
successful in real estate as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, no, couldn't do it, wasn't working.
Yeah.
Mm,
It doesn't
yeah,
happen that often. Like people, I mean, I don't know what they're saying these days, but people used to always say like, well, first of all, real estate is not a part-time job. If you can
no,
make it that, then you have to, there has to be some sort of system in place for you to do that because you know that a buyer or a seller is going to call you while you're at work and be like, I want to write an offer on this house, or will you come list my house in an hour?
exactly. And
You
you
got
got
to
to
be
be,
able
you
to do
have
it.
to be ready to jump. Yeah.
Always, always.
So got licensed, and then I slowly transitioned out of my job and just kind of just jumped in. So, you save your money and you do all the stuff and you plan, but like
Yep.
I still didn't save enough money. The plans were not working. It was like
Right.
it was an interesting shift and transition, but it's so interesting because there's a statistic that like a majority of realtors who get licensed, they're out of the business within the first year.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I was just determined to not be that statistic. And
Person.
I was like, you
Yep.
know what? I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get it done. So even though I've been licensed for 4 years, I really feel like I'm just now hitting my stride. Like I just now have kind of an idea of what I'm doing and I'm getting the referrals and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say that 5-year mark for going into 5 years is when people start calling you when you didn't even like post
Hmm.
something or market some. Well, back then I've been in real estate for 17 years. So back then my 5-year mark looked a lot different. Facebook had just showed up on the scene. But yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, you mean you called me and I like didn't have to do anything, but you
Hmm.
have been doing something for the last, 3 or 4 years. It's just the nature of the business. You
For sure.
just is. So yeah, you're coming into your golden seasons where you get to just like
Yeah.
do your thing and write out all that hard work that you've been doing and so okay, so I want to talk about that a little bit too. Going back to when you first started getting into things, you've got YouTube and TikTok, you're doing all the social things. Was
Hmm.
that like a plan in the beginning or how did you like strategize that? Did it just come naturally or did you
Yeah.
trip on it or like how did that happen?
So none of it was a part of the plan. Um,
Just like a
let's get that
realtor.
out of the way. Yeah. So, well, I had always wanted to have a YouTube channel since I was a child. Like
Okay.
when YouTube was first a thing,
Yep.
before even YouTubers were a thing, that's what I wanted to do.
That
Like
is so funny.
I just felt like it was something that was made for me. Like
Yeah.
I should be doing this. But again, it wasn't this widely done thing.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't have a computer at home. I didn't have Wi-Fi at home. So there were all these barriers that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to like forget about it, push it to the side, whatever. But
Yeah.
it was one of those things where like year after year, it was still just this feeling inside that was just like, I want to start a YouTube channel.
I love that.
So finally in 2018, I was like, okay, I am not going to let this year end with start a YouTube channel still on my vision board. Like, I cannot,
I'm
I
tired of
have
seeing
to
it
do it.
there.
I'm tired of seeing it. Like, I'm tired of putting it on there every single year. Like, we're
Yep.
going to get it done. So on December 25th, 2018, Christmas Day, I dropped my first YouTube video, but like, get this, it was a makeup tutorial. It wasn't even
Let me go with what
anything.
I'm really, really comfortable with. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, like I knew I didn't want to be a makeup YouTuber. It was more so just like, okay, just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
You got to just start.
You got to just start. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drop this video. We'll see what happens and we'll just try out different things from there and then we'll find our niche.
I was just going to say I mean, such a valid point, because when you're talking about something you've been wanting to do for a long time, I always feel like you do the things that you're most comfortable with first, usually. And so not everybody is comfortable with being in front of a camera or being on video.
Mhm.
I mean, in fact, most people don't want to do that. It's like,
Yeah.
especially realtors, they're like, I don't want to do a video. Like, don't make me be in front of the
Mhm.
camera. But I feel like, well, and also YouTube probably felt like a daunting, like a big project, right? It's going to be time consuming.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
realtoring, and that takes up a lot of time too. So even when you are comfortable with something, just like you said, it took you a while to get there, and then you just did it. And that is half of the battle. I'm constantly telling
Mhm.
realtors, like, just jump in there. It's not going to be great. It's not good. But just think about 2 years from now, you get to go back to that and be like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, look at my first video and how far I've come. Like,
Mhm.
that's an awesome, that makes you feel good, obviously, and you're like, okay, I'm really
Definitely.
doing something here. But it's also that consistency. And we were like that with the podcast in the beginning. Like, my strategy was, knowing myself, I had to have it planned every other week. I had to do it. Otherwise I wasn't going to do it. And it'll come up and I'll be like, oh man. And then I get into it and I love it. But it's just
Yeah.
it's one of those daunting tasks. And I think realtors run into that a lot. They're like, it's too much work. I don't want to do it. So they don't do it. And it's like quitting smoking. You're like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then you do it. And people are, I should have did that a long time ago, kind of thing.
Wow. Yeah. I even now, it still feels like my head is spinning
Yep.
sometimes. It's like I'll get people who will message me or they'll like in the comment section on YouTube and they're just like, I can't wait to have a successful channel like yours, or like,
Yep.
how do you do it? And I'm just like, y'all, I still don't really feel like I know
No.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
But you just gotta start.
yeah, you just got to start. And then it kind of naturally progresses into what you want for it. Obviously, your vision is going to come to the light. It's probably from the beginning anyway. You just don't realize it. So, what are you doing now? So, it's been 3 years that you've been doing it?
So just over two. So
Okay.
December made it 2 years. But the way that I kind of fell into real estate being my niche on YouTube was last year. So February of last year, I had made a day in the life of a real estate agent vlog.
Yeah.
It was a super busy day. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab the camera. Like, we'll see what happens, whatever.
Yeah.
But I sat on the footage for weeks.
Yep.
Like, I did not edit it because every time I tried, it was so many clips and so many different ways that I had recorded it. I kept getting discouraged because, I still, for the most part, edit all of my videos. I have a editor and we're still finding a system,
Yeah.
but like, I'm not trained in
Right.
video editing. I'm not
Right.
trained in like how to record and audio and all this other stuff. So every time, the only thing that I had was in my head, the picture that I wanted. So I'm just like, how do I get this final result of editing to actually be before me? Like,
Right.
how do I do this?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had to keep stopping and Googling of like how to do whatever the trick is in the audio or the editing
How do I
systems.
make this do what I want it to do?
Yeah, how do I do the thing? So finally got it edited and I uploaded it to YouTube. literally like 3 days before the stay home order was issued last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like just the timing was and I struggle to give good words to it because again, like we've been in this pandemic for over a year. There's been
Mhm.
so many lives lost and so many people faced sheer devastation. So when
Hurting,
I
yeah.
when I when I talk about this story, I still struggle in the way to say it because, people being home and having nothing to do but watch YouTube videos and explore talents and interests and things that they've had. I was in the right place in the right time. And
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pretty much the rest was history. So when I saw that video kind of like taking off and doing some things, I'm just like, I think I might have something here.
Right. Yes, yes, and I think a lot of people, especially realtors, feel the same way you do about the pandemic, and,
Mhm,
obviously it's just been weird and a rough road, and realtors feel bad because real estate's doing really well, but I
mhm.
remind them because we during the recession, like, we got hit the hardest, and so in the beginning, when we didn't really know a lot, I would joke about, "Well, the pandemic left us alone this time because last time we just got devastated," and now it's definitely turned into something different, and I think silver linings is a really hard word to use during this, but there
Yes,
are
very difficult.
yeah, but there are beams of light and you have to go towards the light and you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, not only with your job and money and a roof over your head, but also mentally. And I think a lot of people are
Yes.
dealing with that. And so I think that whatever realtors do or can do during this, like
Mhm.
your YouTube video and like sharing that information, you are you're talking to people that maybe have never thought of that before. Like, I never even thought about buying a house before.
Yeah.
And then they come
Mhm.
across your video and then they're like, whoa, like let me, so the next time they see a real estate video or a real estate post or something, they think about it differently now.
Yeah.
So it has an impact. Like, I love what you're doing. And video is obviously king right now, and we don't do enough of it either at the store, and I'm like, "We gotta do more video," but it is a lot of work, so you do have to dedicate yourself to that. So what is kind of your do you have how have you figured out how to organize that for yourself, and, like, do you kinda your strategy around it or your foundation being built, how did you figure that part out, and what are you doing to be consistent?
Yeah, so that is a really great question. My consistency comes in waves. So it's like I'll do really, really good and then I'll
Yep.
disappear. And everybody's like, where's LeAnn? Where's her content? What's
Yep.
going on? So I do feel like I'm at the point now where I can and need to hire a team and
Mhm.
outsource some of these things. But until then, what I've been doing is I will pick a day and I will do my makeup and I'll make sure that my hair is done and I'll lay out 5 or 6 outfits and then I will record a video. And as soon as that one's done, change my clothes and I sit down and I record another one and another one.
Yes.
So I'll try to, so this is specific for YouTube. So I'll try to write down a rough outline of what it is, but I don't like my videos to be too posy or
Mhm.
I still want to be able to relate to people when they're watching it. I don't want them to
Yeah.
feel like this is just this unattainable level of quote unquote perfection.
Right.
So that's
You're reading
that's not what
a
I'm going for.
teleprompter because that's so terrible.
Yeah, well, I don't want that. And I also when I started YouTube, when I started kind of like traversing into the influencer side of Instagram and TikTok and things like that, my philosophy has always been to be my authentic self and to inspire others to do the same. So I
Yep.
never want to feel like I have to go into a room and code switch or I have to tone down who I am as a person or like I'm from Detroit and I'm going to tell people that everywhere I go. Sometimes like I'll fall into speaking Ebonics because that's what I
That's
know,
who you are. Yeah.
that's who I am. And
Yes.
I don't want people to feel like they can't be themselves or be who they are because of like some professional code or something along those lines.
Mhm.
Even down to my nails. Like I wear my nails longer and they're always colorful and designs and things on them. That's what I
That's
like.
who you are.
And you can still be professional in that space.
Yes.
But
Yes.
as far as posting on TikTok and posting on Instagram. So YouTube, I try to post a video every Tuesday. So even though this won't be posted on a Tuesday, we're recording this on a Tuesday and I still haven't uploaded my video. So it'll be uploaded by the end of
End
today,
of the
I
day.
promise.
Yes.
Yeah, end of the day. But on Instagram, I still am struggling to find a rhythm because a lot of what I post again is just being real and authentic. And
Mhm.
I have a reminder in my phone of like, hey, it's time to post. So it's usually the reminder pops up about an hour before my time. So my followers are usually most active online around noon or after 5 p.m. So if I somehow miss the noon posting time, then it's like, okay, LeAnn, you gotta post after 5,
Yep.
between 5 and 6. So when the alarm goes off, I usually will grab my phone and I'll scroll through and try to find like a picture that I like or something. And then I'll just type up the caption based upon the picture or however I'm feeling in that moment. So I hadn't posted since like March 26th. And but I
Whoops.
post often on my story. I know, right? But I post often on my story. So that helps. But I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Let me give the people a timeline picture. But I just still was not feeling it. So the post that I made yesterday, I was kind of just telling everyone, like, hey, real estate has not, it's been great in some areas and it hasn't been great in others. Like right
Yeah.
now, I have a ton of buyers who keep losing in multiple offer situations. And
Mhm.
I'm frustrated and I hate giving bad news. And
Yes.
it's not fun right now when you're heavy on the buy side. Like sure,
Yeah.
listing agents are having a blast.
Heyday. Right.
Yeah, and I've got listings as well, and I'm pivoting to do more of those. But as it stands, like I was like, this kind of sucks right
Yep.
now, but
Yep. It's
it's
taxing.
okay, and it is. But it's funny because I wasn't expecting the overwhelming response that I got on that thread of people just saying like,
For
thank you
saying that.
for saying that and being vulnerable and showing us all sides because and this is no shade to any other real estate agent on social media right now, but people only post the good stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
They only post the good stuff. And that sucks when
It's a
you're a
mistake.
person.
Yeah.
It is. It's a mistake.
It's a mistake. People need to just realize that was a mistake and stop doing it and move on. And I think
Yeah.
people don't realize, I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time, I think, with social media where, especially with kids, the younger or I don't even know what we call them anymore, but the younger ones where they're so influenced by it. This next generation coming up, I don't know. It's been so interesting to watch that, like how
Hmm.
they handle social media, how they post, how they deal with it, but it still has got to be women always deal with body
Yeah.
issues and how they feel about themselves. That's just that's always going to be the case, but Instagram and social media has obviously ramped that up. And so I think that people do want to see that stuff. And there's a way to
Hmm.
do it where it's appropriate, where you're not bashing your field of work. And I love how you use the word vulnerable and you were being you. And I think that people all too often try not to be themselves in real estate. I think that's changing actually.
Hmm.
But in the
Yeah.
past, it was like I'd have people come to me and be like, well, I'm afraid to be me because I learned about all this other stuff that I'm supposed to be doing in real estate. And none of that I want to do. I want to do what I do. And I'm like, that is the
Yeah.
only way that you're going to be a realtor, a successful one, is by doing the stuff that you know how to do
Exactly.
and that
Yep.
you feel comfortable with, that you want to do. Like who does,
Hmm.
you leave the stuff that you don't want to do at the very end of your to-do list, which you just keep moving over to the other to-do list because you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I love all of that. Okay, going back, you mentioned something that not a lot of people do,
Hmm.
and you said that you knew when your people were active on Instagram.
Yes.
Tell us really quickly, how did you figure that out? And like, just how did you figure that out?
For sure. So this is very, very important. So if you are a person that's listening and you're trying to grow on YouTube or any kind of social media platform, pull out your phone, take some notes, do something, because this is going to be a very, very helpful gem. So
Yes.
if you want to grow, I would highly suggest turning your page either to a business page or a creator page, because I'm not sure if a regular personal page will show you the same level of analytics that these other two options will. So that's
Yep.
number one. Number two is go into the app and you're able to click on your insights. And those insights can go pretty deep. So you can see the actions based upon posts, the actions based upon stories, et cetera, how your audience has been growing day by day. So I like to look at, so they have a map, or I'm sorry, a graph of Monday through Friday or Sunday through Saturday, whatever it is. And it'll be a bar and it'll show you like what days of the week your followers are most active. And then you can click on those and also see what hour of the day your followers are most active. So for me, my followers are active on Wednesdays and weekends and after 12 p.m. or after 5 p.m. So what that tells me is the majority of my followers have 9 to 5s. They get lunch breaks around noon and they have weekends off.
Yep.
So if you want to reach your followers, you have to post when they're actually on the app.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to know who you're talking to. Like those kinds of things really, I mean, you got a lot just off of just a little bit of information. Well, Instagram does give you a lot of really great insights. It even breaks it down
Mhm.
into men and women, where they are,
Yep,
things like
correct.
that. Yep. So that's super interesting because what if you're getting a lot of people from Georgia? You're like, what? Why?
Mhm.
Maybe there's people that are talking about Detroit and Georgia and they're like, I think I want to move. So that'll give you ideas on hashtags that you want to use.
Definitely.
Maybe even just maybe doing a video and talking to a base of people that like, I see a bunch of you from Seattle. Like, what's going on? Come to
Mhm.
Detroit, check us out. Here's here's some similarities. Here's what you'll love. So that is when you said that, I was like, I got to go back to that because people don't do that
Yes.
enough. And I also, it's really interesting. You said that your people are really active on the weekends looking at your Instagram. And that's the
Mhm.
time you're most busy at work, right?
That is true.
When all your clients are not working. So do you use any scheduling apps or anything like that? Or do you post organically directly just from your phone?
So I've tried a few. They didn't quite do exactly what I wanted or needed them to do. So as of right
Mhm.
now, I post organically. Eventually I'll probably transition to having a few things posted, but I still love just that organic aspect where
Mhm.
I'm just talking about right here, right now, how I feel, what's going on. And again, I don't post everything right in the moment. Like so for example, when I
Yeah.
travel, at this point, if you guys follow me, then you know how much I love to travel. Like I will book a plane ticket in a heartbeat if my schedule allows.
Yeah.
But I usually don't post those like vacation or travel pics or anything like that until like after I've gotten home,
Yeah. Yeah.
just for safety reasons and things like that. It's
Mhm. It's the
everybody is
internet.
not for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. Smart.
Definitely. But yeah, just posting and like you said, hashtags. I'm a huge proponent of hashtags. Hashtags have brought buyers to me, they've brought sellers to me, they've brought new followers to me, new subscribers. Like if you are not hashtagging tagging your pictures, you should start now. You
Yep.
can do up to 30 relevant hashtags in your post. I would say a
Mhm.
healthy mix of hashtags that reach a very wide audience, hashtags that are niche hashtags, and everything in between because yeah, you're missing out on a very, very valuable piece or part of Instagram, which is the search feature.
Right, right. And also too, you can follow hashtags. So
Yes.
if you have a hashtag that you use consistent, like we use all things real estate, it's kind of, we've been using it since we started Instagram 5 or 6 years ago. So it's now turned into everybody uses it just as a term or whatever. So our stuff kind of gets
Yeah.
lost in there. We're like, we need a new hashtag. But you can follow certain hashtags. So if you have your own, your followers are going to follow that hashtag because they might have missed something, or not everybody
Hmm.
goes into your profile and scrolls through. Sometimes they just scroll through their feed, or sometimes they're on the search, the browse button or whatever, and they see the hashtag and they can follow it that way. How do you do your hashtags? Do you put them in the caption or do you put them in the first comment?
So I do both. I've started doing the first comment just so that I'm not clouding my caption space
Caption.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it's also because I do more so like mini blog style captions.
Yeah.
So they're not 1 to 2 liners. It's like a little story. It's a little mini blog. Like I'm kind of just telling you what's going on.
And they say that people like that better actually now.
From what I've seen, my followers personally do. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
calling it a blueprint. It's more so you just play around with what works, and when you see your audience is responding well to certain things, then you
There
you
you
run with
go. Yep.
that.
Golden egg.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been putting them in the first comment, but I go back and forth. Like sometimes if I post something and people are like on it really really quickly, and I don't have time to like make the comment for it to be the first comment, then I'll go in and I'll edit the caption to add the hashtags in there. But otherwise, I do try to get it to be the first.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's jump over to TikTok
Uh
because
huh.
not everybody does it. I, for one, I love watching TikTok videos all the time, but you'll never see me on there. We tried to do it and I was like, this just isn't, we don't know what we're doing. It's not our jam. And then of course, Instagram Reels came around and they were like, if you're not doing Reels, then your posts aren't going to be seen, the algorithm stuff and all that back
Yeah.
end stuff. So, and I don't want to talk about, well, I don't want to say like ageism, but I'm sorry. There just is. There's stuff for younger people and there's stuff for not younger people. And
Nope. I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that. Nope. Nope. Because there are
okay,
so
I don't like
many.
it. I don't want to do it. So I have my staff
Mhm.
do it. And they didn't know, they're in their 20s and they were like, we don't know what we're doing. They're not all TikToker, but now they've figured it
Yeah.
out and they're kind of getting into it a little bit. And it's been super cute to see. But so I love that you said that. Like, nope, I'm not taking it. Like,
Hmm.
but I don't have to do everything all the time, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. That's
You
fair.
pick and choose what you like, and I love that people are doing it, and I don't see enough real estate stuff. So, tell us, like, how you're utilizing that. Are you using it for fun, for business, for both? Like, because I know a lot of people have a hard time, like, back like down to the basics with even their Instagram. Like, should I have a personal Instagram and a business? And a lot of people are shifting into just having the same because obviously people want to see, your personal life too with that
Yeah.
connection into your business life, and maintaining two accounts on Instagram and that kind of stuff is a pain. But how are you utilizing that? Were you using it before so you already kind of knew and then you moved it into your real estate, or how did that happen for you?
No, not at all. So TikTok was a pure accident. Okay. Let me just start there. So when TikTok was like becoming a thing, what was that, like late 2019? I was like, okay, I anticipate to one day have a large following online. So let me download TikTok to at least just reserve my name.
Yes.
So I do have LeAnn Henri as a brand name that is pending trademark registration. So
Go girl.
thank you. So it was really important for me to just to make sure that I had my names reserved on all platforms.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it and just forget about it. So on when you have an iPhone, because I know you were talking about how you don't have one, but apps that you don't use for a long time, they get offloaded and they're still on your screen, but you'll have to like re-download them from the cloud to use them again if you don't use them often enough.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's how my TikTok app was. I literally just never used it.
Used it.
So earlier, maybe like late February, there's this trend that was popping up, and it was this really, really funny, like dramatic noise that would drop after a couple of seconds. And the way that people were using it was, you state some sort of thing, and then you're just like, well, why don't you do it? Or like, what if it was like an irony kind of thing, right?
Yep. Yep.
So I was like, I saw this thread and it was hilarious to me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to talk about buyers and I'm going to talk about sellers and I'm going to do all this stuff. So that kind of always happens to me. I'll see something, I'll get instant inspiration. And if I don't write it down or if I don't do it right then and there, I forgot it and I never circle back to it. Right.
Shiny object syndrome. All realtors are
Hmm.
guilty of it.
Yep. That is me. Front and center. I'm raising my hand.
Yep.
So I later on that day, I was just like, okay, I need to hurry up and do this because if I don't do it today, like I'm not gonna do it. So I was searching all over to find the noise because I had seen it on Instagram, but I was like, oh no, this is a TikTok noise. I don't know how to work TikTok. The app isn't even downloaded on my phone anymore. Like I literally have
I got to
no
get
idea
with
what to
it.
do.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I went to YouTube and I watched a couple of videos on how to work TikTok. And then I went back to the app. So like I was searching through the sounds, I was able to locate the sound, I saved it, and then I made the video. So I didn't post the video on TikTok. I just screen recorded it. I put it in my drafts on TikTok because I only wanted it to live on Instagram. I wanted it to live on Instagram Reels. I
Yep.
still was firm on not having anything to do with TikTok. I was standing my ground, right?
Yep.
So I posted it on Reels and it was doing relatively well. Like, hey, this is doing pretty good. I guess maybe I'll just put it on TikTok. I'll hit post. We'll see what
See
happens.
what happens. Yep.
Yeah. So a few hours later, I go back to the app. Before I had posted it, I had maybe 5 followers, just people that knew me personally.
Hmm.
Came back to the app a few hours later and it was 450 followers. And I was
What?
like, what's happening?
How did I
What?
do that?
Yeah. So put the phone down, left the app, whatever, came back in the morning and I was at 5,000 followers.
What?
And I was like, is this what TikTok is about? Like
Right.
did I just fall on the viral side of cyberspace? What did I
Right.
do? Like how did I unlock the code or something? Is it beginner's luck? I literally couldn't figure it out. But I will also add that TikTok users are a different breed.
Yes.
Okay. They are ruthless.
Mhm.
And in the comments, they were not very nice. And I was
What?
like, hold on. Because
Right.
it was a joke. Like a lot of the people just didn't see the humor in it. Unless you're a realtor, like the video that was posted, it was called Buyers Be Like. You can't really quite see the
Relate.
humor in it.
Yeah.
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 Or unless you've like purchased a home or you've
Been
sold a
through it.
home. Yeah. Otherwise, people are just like, I'd never work with her. She's so rude and et cetera, et
What?
cetera. And I was like, for maybe like 0.2 seconds, it was kind of hurting my feelings.
Right.
And then like after the 0.2 seconds, I snapped out of it because I was like, first of all, y'all are strangers. I don't even know you. You don't know me. I'm
You're
never
not in
gonna meet you.
Detroit.
You know, and if
Right.
you were in Detroit, you probably wouldn't be talking like that, but that's
Yep.
another conversation for another time.
Yep.
And I was just like, I am not going to let these strangers on the internet shake me and make me feel bad about something that I was very, very proud and excited of.
Yeah.
Because it also had taken me forever, Tracy, to make that video.
Right. You're like, I'm
Took
not taking this down. Nope.
No, it is. It's
Too
gonna
much
live.
work.
Yeah. So it was like I was watching the numbers go up. It had 30,000 views, then 40, then 50, then 60.
Oh
It's
my
at
gosh.
over 800,000 views on TikTok
What?
and over 1.5 million views on Instagram Reels.
Oh my gosh. And when did
Yeah.
you do
So
it?
I did it
A
like
year ago?
late. No, last month, like February of this year.
What?
Yes. So I had downloaded the TikTok app.
I'm not
Okay.
downloading the TikTok app, but I have to see it. I can see it on
No,
Instagram, right?
yeah, you can see it on Instagram. You go to my
Reels?
page and then you click on the Reels tab and you'll
Yep.
you'll see it.
Okay,
But
okay.
and it's so funny because when I made that video, again, it was on a whim. And no, the actually which one was it? Because there's 2 videos at this point that have gone like semi-viral. I can't
You're
remember which
like,
is
"I did
which.
too. I'm done. I'm done. I'm a
Yeah, I
TikTok
know,
star."
right? So one of the videos I had left the nail salon and I was just like, okay, I've got a little bit of time for my next showing. I'm gonna hurry up and make this video. So I was in the parking lot of the nail salon making this video. But that just goes to show one, you never know when your moment is. So just
Yep.
ride the wave.
Yep.
Number two, don't be scared to just do it because there's going to be like trolls and people wherever you are, no matter what it is that you do. Like, but if you are proud of your work, keep it up, stand behind it, and keep it moving. And number three, like, just if you feel like it's not good enough, that's probably not true.
Right. We're our
People are
worst
going to love
critics.
it. We're our worst critics. Like people will tell me that they love my YouTube videos or like something that I've done, and I'm watching it back like cringing, like, oh,
Cringing.
I could have cut that out, or I could have did this differently. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So yeah, but
But I think that's what people like about it too, though, is that it's not scripted. Just like you said earlier, you have an outline, but you're not going to read from a script because that's not you and that's not comfortable and that doesn't make. So if you're not comfortable with something, it's obviously going to show up in video. But also too in like your even just your captions, and it is obviously we know we have what 3 seconds to catch somebody's attention, and so and to kind of learn your personality. So video definitely gets to bring that out. Like people, I know who you are based
Mhm.
on your video. I have a pretty good idea that I'm not going to see you in person and it's going to be a whole different person, right? And
Right.
so that's why video is so important for realtors, and to just get in front of the camera and do it just like you said. I also want to go back to something you said about with YouTube, that you pick a half a day or a couple hours or whatever, lay out a bunch of outfits and do a bunch of videos. I think that is super important because it takes a while to get your groove, right?
Yes.
Especially in front of the camera and like
Mhm.
feeling comfortable. You can definitely, sometimes it gets worse, like bowling. I always get worse more I bowl or whatever, and so kind of figure that out about yourself, and you're going to have like really awesome moments and then really not so awesome moments. So figure out that's at the beginning of it or at the end, and then you don't have to, you shouldn't do like 3 hours worth of video because it's going to drain you and you're going to be bored with it by the end and just want to get it over with. It's going to come across. So pick
Yeah.
those moments and times of day and days of the week, all those things that you mentioned earlier about the insights and Instagram. It's the same for you as a person. Like we know I'm not a morning person. Like I know that my stuff is like I'm better off in the evening. And so I don't do anything before 11 that requires video or recording or anything. I'm like, nope, I need my coffee. I need to chill. I need to do my morning routine is a lot different than most people. There's especially morning people, but you have to know that about yourself and go with it. It's okay to do that.
Exactly. And it's okay to pivot.
Yes. And switch up.
Totally okay. Like if something's not working,
You should
it's
actually
fine.
do
You
that.
can
Yeah. Don't keep doing what's
yeah.
not working.
No.
Drive yourself crazy. Okay, so now I want to just quickly pivot. Speaking of pivoting, and I kind of want to end with we talked a little bit prior about your background and what you went to school for, psychology. I always think that's so interesting when realtors have that background. It's so funny. It just makes so much sense. But also you
Oh
did some
yeah, it
so
does.
right. You're like you psychoanalyze everybody, while but you also
Definitely.
empathize and know how to figure out how to understand people in a certain way, and I think that's a definitely a tool in your toolkit. But you also did some social justice stuff in school, and obviously with what we're
Mhm.
living in the world right now and kind of everything that's happening, how do you bring that into your business life and kind of mesh that with who you work with and who you decide to work with,
Mhm.
and like how do you balance that out?
Well, fun fact, April is actually Fair Housing Month.
Yep, it
A lot of
is.
people don't know that, but the Fair Housing Act of 1968. I actually have a series of reels slash TikToks that I've recorded to post for that. I need to re-record one of them though. But anyways,
Love that.
so as a direct result of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King on April 11th, 1968, the Fair Housing Act was passed, and it prohibited discrimination on the basis of, well, in the sale, rental, or financing of property on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin. I forget them. There's 9 protected classes in the state of Michigan, but 2 of those are specific to Michigan, and they're not federal yet.
Really?
Yeah, which is, I know it's interesting. So there's
That is.
age and disability are specific to Michigan, but they're still not protected on the federal state yet.
I don't think I knew that.
Mhm.
That's
I
crazy.
know it's, yeah. And only recently was discrimination based upon gender identity was protected. So
Yeah,
for the longest, people could still be discriminated against based upon that, which is ridiculous. We're in
so
2021.
ridiculous. Right.
So yeah, a lot of what I do, number one, is kind of giving a voice to the voiceless. So because neighborhoods, lending practices, all of that was like segregated, and discrimination within those realms happened for so long, we're still trying to combat the effects of it. So the home ownership rate among Black Americans is like maybe 26%. I have to
Mhm.
look up the stats again. So whoever's listening, please don't. Don't be upset if I don't get them exact. But homeownership for white Americans is actually, I believe, 70% or somewhere in there.
Mhm.
And it varies as you go upon different races and national origin.
Yeah.
And that is tough. That's really, really tough because a part of it is knowledge. People don't know how to buy a house. They have only seen their family members rent for years and years prior. They don't know any difference.
Yep.
They don't understand the value that home ownership can bring, the generational wealth that it allows you to build. So a lot of what I do in my transactions is not only just helping people to buy a house, but helping people to understand why they're buying a house. I like to teach throughout the whole transaction to the point where they can explain everything that just happened after they close, and they can go explain it
To
to their
someone else.
friends, yeah, to their family
Love that.
members. So reach one, teach one,
Yes.
let's build a bunch of homeowners
Together. Yes. I love
together.
that.
Yeah, so that's really, really important for me. How do I choose who I work with? Obviously, I don't discriminate on who I work with. If somebody comes to me
No, no,
and they
no,
want
no.
me to buy or sell their house, absolutely,
Yes.
100%. But I will choose not to work with a company or a person if I know that they don't respect me as a Black woman, if they don't respect my people, if they don't respect other people in general. If you're just, I say it all the time, it's not hard to be a good person.
It's
And
not
people act like it's so difficult.
difficult.
And they turn things that are based upon humanity into political.
Politic. Yep.
It's very frustrating. So for me, I am not one to put anybody on blast. I'm not one to, just create situations where someone's business would be in a position to fail
Right.
because of an experience that I've had with them,
Yep.
but I'm just choosing to no longer give you my business.
Right. Yep.
So if I ever encounter a situation where I'm just like, you were wrong, I'm going to report you to the appropriate parties.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm just not going to do business with you any longer. I'm going to tell my family and my friends about you, and word of mouth spreads a lot faster
Sure does.
than any other way that someone would go about that. So
Yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
about, just I try to do the right thing in everything that I do. Like, of course, I'm not this perfect law-abiding citizen. I've gone 55 and a 45 a couple of times, but when it comes to this thing, it's very, very serious for me. If I know or see that somebody is being discriminated against within, like, home selling, home renting, financing, anything like that, I'm sending them the tools that they need to report it.
Yeah.
I'm telling them what they need to do to protect themselves. Some
Yes.
people don't even realize
Yeah.
that they're being discriminated against, which is
Right.
also a problem.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No, it is.
yeah.
So let me just ask you this. I think that, and also thank you for clearing that up with like choosing people and things. I don't want anybody to
Yeah.
think like, what I mean is like, we all as realtors kind of have our tribe of people, whether
Mhm.
that be, the people in my kids' fencing class or what, like you
Yeah.
kind of get, nichey when it comes to this. And that's when you build your community in real estate. Yeah, realtors will buy and sell anywhere. It's not just about like a particular area of town. Like if
Mhm.
it's 25 miles out, some realtors will drive and some will refer it out. It just
Yeah.
depends on your business. But I think that when you're being all of the things that you've been talking about, when you're being authentic, you're being you, you're talking about the things that you're most passionate about and that are important to you, your values are going to align with enough people, and
Mhm.
hopefully people that didn't think about it before. And
Yeah.
just like you said with the education piece, the world is just, I don't even know how to, you can't even describe like what it is right now. But I think it's really important that there's so many teachable moments right now, and how we
Mhm.
handle that is really, really important, especially generational. You talked about generational wealth and things like that. So I think if we as realtors, focus on what we're good at, and also being empathetic and open-minded and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
when it's really easy to just kind of be like, this is how I work, this is how I operate, this is my day-to-day life. But if you're coming up against something that's not right, just like you said, there's a way
Mhm.
to handle that. And I think stopping and thinking about it for a minute and instead of just like, I'm going to
Yeah.
put a bad review on Google or whatever, but taking a step back and figuring out how you can handle that better. So I love that you said that. And also building, educating and like telling, like, especially your clients, like giving them all the information so that they can go and explain it to the next person isn't just
Hmm.
about bringing business back to you, which hopefully it will, right?
Yeah.
But it's about our community in real estate. Like the more people understand about real estate and how it works, even if you're explaining it and somebody, like I was saying in another state is watching you, they're getting that education too. So that they can go to their local realtor and be like, you know what? I saw LeAnn on Instagram and I didn't even think I could buy a
Exactly.
house. So let me go find a local. They might even reach out to you and be like, hey, do you know any realtors in my
And that's,
hometown?
yep, that happens to me all the time.
Yes, yes, and so I think people do think it's a little difficult balancing, like, social justice and politics and pandemic, all of that stuff and balancing that out,
Yeah.
and it's not don't make it so difficult on yourself
It
as a realtor.
doesn't have to be
Doesn't
difficult.
it doesn't.
Like, and there is no balance.
Right, right.
Everybody thinks that I have to balance and I have to do that. There literally is no
No
balance.
balance. Yep,
There's no blueprint, there's no guidebook. We all are living in a time and experience something that no other human has
right.
experienced in the sequence of events that we have before us. We're all trying to figure it out. So just giving grace is a very, very big part of it, which is another reason, again, why I don't automatically just jump to, vilifying someone, unless it's strike three. Once it's strike three, you're out. Like, and
Right,
you
or
don't
it's
want to see
real
me.
real harsh in the beginning. You're like, wait a minute."
But really just coming from a place of understanding and empathy, because a lot of what's going on right now is fear.
Yep,
The basis of so many things that we're seeing and experiencing is fear. People are fearful of their lives. People
yeah,
are fearful of their families, of their health, of their finances. So once you kind of take a moment to really speak to someone's humanity, to speak to
mhm,
their fear, to speak to their emotions, you find out, number one, that you probably have a lot more in common with your
common.
neighbor than you think.
Yep.
But number two is that you can learn something. I've learned so many things in this past year, and not just from people who look like me, but people who don't look like me,
Mhm. Yep.
or people who share different religions or different professions or different experiences. Like, I love just sitting down and talking to somebody who on the outside appears that we have nothing in common. Because
Yep.
sometimes you walk away with a new best friend, okay?
Exactly. Yes.
But yeah, so we're all working on it. I by no means am perfect. Sometimes people walk up to me and try to strike up a conversation. And I just had a long day and I really don't want to talk to you.
Right. Right.
But it's no reflection on the person. But again, you know what's a simple solution to that? Hey, I kind of had a long day. I don't really feel like chatting, but we should do lunch next week on Zoom. When are you
Yes.
free?
Yes.
Like, just being honest and because if you're tired, everybody else probably is too.
Right. It's about communication, and just
Communication.
we need to talk more. Obviously, there needs to be more
Yes.
conversations that need to take place, and I think we're
And then
there.
actions followed by those conversations.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, whatever that might be, whether it's little or big or whatever, but
Mhm.
yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah,
right. I love that.
definitely.
Okay, I want to end on that because I love what you said about giving grace. I think that's encapsulates like who you are, just meeting you for the first time today on Zoom
Yeah.
for the podcast. I love that. And so, okay, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, apparently there's a bunch of places you can find me now.
And now we
So
know.
yeah, so you guys can find me on Instagram at LeAnn, LEANN underscore Henry, HENRI. On TikTok, I'm at LeAnn Henry, no underscore. I'm on Twitter. I don't really tweet, but that's at LeAnn Henry as well.
Yeah.
YouTube is LeAnn Henry, LEANNHENRI. And then, of course, at leannhenry.com.
Look at you. You got your name on everything. I love that.
Everything. Branding
That's
is
how it's
important.
done.
Hmm.
You have to. People are gonna Google it and they're gonna see at least a whole bunch of you on the first page. So that's how
Yeah.
you do it.
So I want to do something really fun
Yes.
that I
You're gonna
just
make
thought
me
of.
TikTok.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually.
Okay, good.
So remember when I told you, like, when I have an idea, I either have to do it right then and there or it's never going to happen.
Yep, yep. Let's do it.
So this is an idea. So I'm going to let's team up and do a giveaway
Okay.
for whoever listens to this podcast all the way at the end.
Yep.
Okay. The very first person to comment under either your post or my post
Okay.
with the phrase April is Fair Housing Month.
Hey, check you out. Let me write that down.
Hmm.
Okay.
They got to listen all the way through. April is Fair Housing Month. We will have some sort of giveaway for them. So we can chat about that when we get off. But
Should we
this
make it a
will
hashtag too? Is that a hashtag
yes,
already?
it probably is a hashtag already, but
I
like
bet it
yeah.
has I bet it doesn't have very many posts. So maybe when we get off of here, we'll
Hmm.
both look on there and check it out and then we'll communicate and figure it out. See how many
Yes.
posts are on there and then let's set a goal for how many posts we can get with that and try to get it reposted and talk about fair housing. I love
Yes.
that idea.
Yes, I support it. And the only way that people will know that this is happening is if they listen to it all the way through.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. We have people that are podcasters, like
Uh-huh.
listen to podcasting all the time, and they listen all the way to the end. And I'm always so shocked. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I love that. But,
Yeah,
you never know how it's going to end. So you got to listen all the way to the end. See,
for sure.
we're always down for a giveaway. Thank you,
Definitely.
LeAnn. I really appreciate you. I loved learning about you and listening to all the great things that you're doing. And I also love the fact that, and I think most realtors are kind of there now, the old industry, whatever that
Yeah.
means, whether it be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, didn't always give their tips and tricks and advice. Again, that
Hmm.
is changing a lot now, but you give a lot of really great tidbits of things that you could have been like, oh no, that's my secret. I gotta, I want to know how to go viral. And it's not like that anymore. And I love that about the realtor community. So I always want to embrace that and applaud you for that. So thank you for that. And thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. This was great. I had a blast.
It was. All right. Hashtag April is Fair Housing Month. Let's do
Yes,
it.
ma'am. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for being here.